Captain Veltar stretched his long neck and looked at the beautiful blue planet ahead. His ship, the Gentle Current, moved slowly through space toward the strange new star system. The ship was made of clear crystal walls that let everyone see the stars outside. Gardens grew inside the ship, and the crew spent their days taking care of plants and studying the universe. "Look at that world," said Science Officer Kilron, pointing at the third planet from the sun. "It has water and green land. There might be life there." Veltar smiled. His people, the Morvani, loved finding new forms of life. They had been traveling through space for hundreds of years, always looking for friends and new things to learn. The Morvani were tall, thin beings with soft blue skin. They ate only plants and had never hurt anyone in their entire history. "Send them a greeting message," Veltar told his communications officer, Zilna. "Maybe they want to be friends." Zilna nodded and started working at her station. She had been trying to send messages to the planet for 3 days, but something was wrong with their equipment. The signals were too weak to reach that far. "Captain, our main transmitter is broken," Zilna said, looking worried. "I can try to boost the power, but I need to use the emergency frequency." "Do whatever you need to do," Veltar said. "We must let them know we come in peace." Far away on Earth, Admiral Kang Hoon was drinking coffee in his office when alarms started ringing. He was a tall man with gray hair who had spent 30 years protecting Earth from danger. He ran to the command center where dozens of people were working at computers and screens. "What's happening?" Kang Hoon asked. Lieutenant Park Min looked up from his station. He was young and smart, and he never missed anything important. "Sir, we're getting a distress signal from space. It's coming from outside our solar system." Kang Hoon felt his heart start beating faster. "What does it say?" Park Min played the message. The words were broken and hard to understand. "Help, unknown species, approach, coordinates." Static filled the air between the words. "Sir, there's more," Park Min said. "Our long-range sensors show multiple ships moving toward Earth. They're coming from the same direction as the distress signal." Kang Hoon stared at the screen. For years, Earth scientists had wondered if they were alone in the universe. Now they had their answer, and it was not good news. Someone was calling for help, and ships were coming toward Earth. "Get me Defense Minister Li Wan on the line," Kang Hoon ordered, "and prepare the emergency council meeting." 20 minutes later, the most important people on Earth were sitting around a table in an underground bunker. Defense Minister Li Wan was a serious woman who always thought about the worst things that could happen. She had been preparing Earth for alien attacks since humans first traveled to other planets. "Here's what we know," Kang Hoon said, showing pictures on a big screen. Someone sent a distress signal asking for help. The message mentioned unknown species and gave coordinates. "Our sensors show at least 6 ships heading toward Earth from those same coordinates." General Kim Jae stood up. He was the commander of Earth's war fleet, and his job was to fight enemies in space. "This looks like an invasion," he said. "Peaceful aliens attacked by unknown species. Now those attackers are coming for us." Li Wan nodded. "Our colonies on other planets have fought dangerous alien animals. If there are smart aliens out there who are aggressive, we need to be ready." "What do you recommend?" asked President Chang Ho, who had been quiet until now. "We send the first war fleet," Kim Jae said. "Every ship we have. If hostile aliens are coming to Earth, we show them that humans are not easy prey." Meanwhile, Zilna was still trying to fix the communications problem. She had connected the emergency transmitter to their main power source, but the signal was still weak. The planet below them looked so beautiful, and she wanted to talk to whoever lived there. "I think I can make the signal stronger," she told Captain Veltar. "But it might use a lot of power." "Do it," Veltar said. "We've come so far to meet new friends. We can't give up now." Zilna pressed several buttons and the ship's power flowed into the transmitter. She didn't know that the frequency she was using was Earth's emergency military channel. She didn't know that her boosted signal would look like weapons charging to human sensors. Back on Earth, Park Min watched his screen in horror. "Sir, the signal just got much stronger, and we're detecting massive energy readings from the approaching ships." Kang Hoon looked at the data. The energy levels were unlike anything humans had ever built. "How many ships are there?" "Our computers say 6, but the energy output suggests they're much larger than anything we have," Park Min said. "Sir, if each ship has this much power, they could destroy our entire planet." Li Wan made the decision that would change everything. "Admiral Kim Jae, prepare the first war fleet for immediate launch." "This is not a drill. Earth is under threat," Kim Jae saluted. "How many ships, Minister?" "All of them. Lee Wan said. Every warship we have. Show these aliens that attacking Earth is a mistake they will regret. As orders went out across Earth's military bases, Captain Veltar was smiling on his peaceful ship. He was excited about meeting the beings who lived on the beautiful blue planet. His people had never met a species that could build machines and travel in space. This would be the greatest day in Morvani history. The signal is working now, Zilna said happily. I'm sending our standard greeting message. It explains who we are and that we want to be friends. Veltar watched the planet grow larger as they moved closer. Soon they would meet their new friends. He had no idea that his peaceful greeting was being seen as a threat, and that the largest war fleet in human history was preparing to destroy his small ship. Neither species understood what was really happening. The humans thought they were facing an invasion. The Morvani thought they were making friends. Both sides were about to discover that first contact between different species could go very, very wrong. Admiral Kim Jae stood in the command center of the Seoul space station, watching as hundreds of ships prepared for war. He was a hard man who had fought alien creatures on 3 different planets. His face was covered with scars from battles against the deadly hunters of Kepler 442b, where humans learned that the universe was full of dangerous things. Status report, Kim Jae said to his assistant, Captain Yoon Soo. Sir, we have 847 ships ready to launch, Yoon Soo said, reading from her tablet. All weapon systems are charged and the crews are on full alert. Kim Jae nodded. The first war fleet was Earth's greatest achievement. After humans found hostile alien animals on colony worlds, they built ships designed to fight anything the universe could throw at them. Each ship carried enough weapons to destroy a city. The biggest ships were the Planet Killer-class dreadnoughts. These massive vessels were 3 kilometers long and carried weapons that could crack a planet's surface. The Seoul's Fury was the largest of them all, and it would be Admiral Kang Hoon's flagship for this mission. Launch sequence begins in 30 minutes, Kim Jae announced over the communication system. All ships prepare for hyperspace jump to intercept coordinates. In the docking bay of the Seoul's Fury, Colonel Nam Do was talking to his Marines. These soldiers had fought the pack hunters of Kepler and the acid spitters of Wolf 359. They were the toughest humans alive, trained to fight in any environment. Listen up, Nam Do said to the 300 Marines standing in front of him. Intelligence says we're facing unknown hostiles who attacked peaceful aliens. We don't know what they look like or how they fight, but we know they're coming for Earth. Private Lee Soo raised her hand. Sir, what should we expect when we board their ships? Expect anything, Nam Do replied. The aliens might be bigger than us, stronger than us, or have weapons we've never seen. But remember your training. Humans have survived on a death world for millions of years. We're the best fighters in the galaxy, even if we don't know it yet. On the bridge of the heavy cruiser Busan Thunder, Captain Oh Tae was checking his ship's weapons. The Busan Thunder carried railguns that could fire metal slugs at half the speed of light. It also had plasma cannons that could melt through any armor humans had ever built. Sir, all weapon systems are green, reported his tactical officer, Lieutenant Beiji. We're ready for combat. Oh Tae looked at the tactical display showing the approaching alien ships. The energy readings were massive, bigger than anything in Earth's fleet. But that didn't scare him. Humans had learned to fight smart, not just hard. Remember, the aliens might have better technology, but they've never fought humans before, Oh Tae told his crew. We've been fighting for survival our whole history. That's our advantage. Commander Choi Han was preparing his stealth frigate wing for the mission. These small, fast ships could sneak up on enemies and strike without warning. Choi Han had used these tactics against the smart pack hunters on Kepler, who could think and plan just like humans. Our job is reconnaissance and first strike, Choi Han told his squadron leaders. We go in first, get close to the alien ships and gather intelligence. If they're hostile, we hit them before they know we're there. The stealth frigates were painted black and covered with special materials that made them almost invisible to sensors. Each ship carried enough firepower to destroy a building, and their crews were trained to think like hunters. Dr. Song Yu, Earth's head of alien studies, was in her laboratory looking at the data from the approaching ships. She had studied the alien creatures found on human colonies, and she knew that intelligent aliens would be even more dangerous. These energy readings don't make sense, she told her assistant, Dr. Park Won. No ship needs this much power unless it's charging massive weapons. What do you think we're facing? Park Won asked. Song Yu looked at the screen showing the alien ships. Based on the energy output, I think we're dealing with a species that has been fighting wars for a very long time. They've built ships designed for one thing: destroying other ships. She didn't know how wrong she was. In the engine room of the destroyer Incheon strike, Commander Park Dong was making sure his ship was ready for battle. The Incheon strike was fast and deadly, designed to attack enemies and run away before they could fight back. "Chief, how are the engines?" Park Dong asked his chief engineer. "Running at 100%, sir," the engineer replied. "We can outrun anything in space and our weapons can punch through any armor." Park Dong smiled. Human ships were built for speed and hitting power. They had learned from fighting fast, smart alien predators that the best defense was to hit first and hit hard. On the communication deck of the Soul's Fury, Lieutenant Park Min was trying to decode more of the alien messages. The signals were getting stronger, which meant the alien ships were getting closer to Earth. "Admiral, the alien signals are changing," Park Min reported to Admiral Kang Hoon. "They're transmitting on multiple frequencies now, and the power levels keep increasing." Kang Hoon frowned. "Are they trying to jam our communications?" "It's possible, sir. Or they might be coordinating an attack." Kang Hoon looked at the tactical display. In 6 hours, the largest war fleet in human history would jump to hyperspace and meet these unknown aliens. He hoped his ships were enough to protect Earth. "All ships, this is Admiral Kang Hoon," he announced over the fleet communication system. "In 6 hours, we will face an unknown enemy who threatens our home world. We don't know what they look like or how they fight, but we know one thing. They made a mistake when they decided to threaten Earth." The crew of 847 ships cheered. These humans had been born on a planet where everything tried to kill them. They had survived ice ages, predators, diseases, and wars. Now they would show the galaxy what happened when you threatened a species that had clawed its way to the top of the food chain. "Remember," Kang Hoon continued, "we are not just fighting for Earth. We are fighting for every human colony, every human family, and every human dream. Today, the galaxy learns what it means to face the children of Earth." As the countdown continued, Captain Veltar's peaceful ship moved closer to Earth. He was still excited about meeting the new species, unaware that the most powerful war fleet in human history was preparing to destroy him and his crew. The stage was set for the most dangerous misunderstanding in galactic history. The gentle current continued its peaceful journey toward Earth, completely unaware of the massive war fleet heading toward it. Captain Veltar was in his garden room, taking care of his favorite flowering plants, when Science Officer Kilron called him to the bridge. "Captain, we're detecting some interesting energy patterns from the third planet," Kilron said, his voice filled with excitement. "The beings there must be very advanced. Their energy output is incredible." Veltar hurried to the bridge and looked at the readings on the screen. The numbers were amazing. The planet was producing more energy than his entire home world. "They must have wonderful technology," he said with a smile. "This is even better than we hoped." Meanwhile, Communications Officer Zilna was working hard to send proper greeting messages to Earth. She had been broadcasting mathematical sequences and prime numbers, which were universal signs of intelligence. Every peaceful species in the galaxy used these signals to show they were smart and friendly. "I'm sending the standard first contact package," Zilna told Captain Veltar. "Pictures of our home world, information about our biology and our basic mathematics. Any intelligent species should understand that we come in peace." What Zilna didn't know was that her quantum communication bursts looked very different to human sensors. The mathematical sequences appeared to be targeting data, and the energy pulses looked like weapon systems locking onto targets. Admiral Kang Hoon stood on the bridge of the Soul's Fury as his fleet jumped out of hyperspace near Mars. 847 human warships appeared in space like a swarm of angry metal wasps. Each ship immediately began scanning for threats and preparing weapons. "Admiral, we have the alien vessels on sensors," reported Lieutenant Beiji from his tactical station. 6 ships moving in formation toward Earth. They're targeting us, sir." Kang Hoon looked at the tactical display. Bright red lines showed the alien ships painting human vessels with what appeared to be targeting beams. "Are they charging weapons?" "Yes, sir. Energy levels are increasing across all 6 alien ships. They know we're here and they're preparing to attack." Captain Otay, commanding the heavy cruiser Busan Thunder, received the tactical data from the flagship. His weapons officer, Lieutenant Yoon Min, was watching the alien targeting systems with growing alarm. "Captain, they're scanning our entire fleet," Yoon Min reported. "It's like they're looking for weak points in our armor." Ote gritted his teeth. The aliens were studying human ships, probably planning the best way to destroy them. Maintain defensive formation and prepare to return fire on the Admiral's command. On the gentle current, Captain Veltar was getting more excited by the minute. The energy readings from the approaching ships were beyond anything his people had ever seen. "Look at the size of their fleet," he said to his crew. "They must be an incredibly advanced civilization." Science Officer Kilron was studying the human ships through their long-range sensors. "Captain, their technology is amazing. The energy patterns suggest they've learned to control massive amounts of power, and their formation flying is perfect. Every ship is in exactly the right position. Increase our signal strength," Veltar ordered. "We must show them how happy we are to meet them." Zilna boosted their communication array to maximum power. She wanted to make sure the powerful beings in those magnificent ships could hear their friendly greeting. The signal burst was so strong, it could be detected throughout the solar system. On the human ships, this massive signal boost looked like the aliens were powering up their main weapons. Commander Shin Woo led a squadron of scout ships forward to get a closer look at the alien vessels. His job was dangerous but important. Get close enough to see what they were facing, but stay far enough away to escape if the aliens attacked. "This is Scout Leader to Fleet Command," Shin Woo reported as he got his first visual of the alien ships. "I can see the alien vessels now. They're unusual." "Explain." Admiral Kang Hoon's voice came back. Shin Woo looked at the alien ship through his view screen and couldn't believe what he was seeing. "Sir, the ship appears to be made of crystal or glass. I can see right through parts of it. There are what look like gardens inside and, sir, I don't see any weapons." "That's impossible," came the reply from the flagship. "No ship can travel in space without weapons. It must be a trick." Shin Woo kept watching the alien vessel. It was beautiful, like a piece of art floating in space. But his training told him that anything this strange had to be dangerous. Maybe their weapons are hidden, or they're so advanced we can't recognize them. Dr. Song Yu was analyzing the visual data from the scout ships in her laboratory aboard the Soul's Fury. What she saw made her very worried. The alien ship looked nothing like a war vessel. It was too beautiful, too open, too vulnerable. "This doesn't make sense," she told her assistant, Dr. Park 1. "Either this species is so advanced that they don't need armor or weapons, or they've never faced a military threat in their entire existence. Which one is worse?" Park 1 asked. Song Yu thought about it. "Both options are terrifying. If they're that advanced, they could destroy us without effort. If they've never faced war, then something else wiped out all their enemies. And now we have to face that something." Captain Veltar decided it was time to show these new friends how peaceful his people were. He ordered his ship to move closer to the human fleet, hoping to demonstrate trust and openness. "Extend our docking ports," he told his crew. "Maybe they would like to come aboard and meet us face to face." The gentle current slowly approached the human fleet with its docking arms extended. To Captain Veltar, this was the most natural thing in the world. When two species met in space, they invited each other aboard their ships to share food and stories. To the humans, it looked like the alien ship was preparing to attack. "Admiral, the lead alien vessel is moving toward us," Lieutenant Beiji reported with alarm. "They're extending what appear to be boarding rams or docking clamps." Admiral Kang Hoon felt his heart start racing. The aliens were trying to board human ships. That meant they wanted to capture humans alive, probably for terrible purposes. "All ships prepare for boarding defense. Marines to battle stations." Colonel Nam Do and his Marines rushed to their positions throughout the fleet. If the aliens wanted to board human ships, they would find out why humans were the most dangerous species on their planet. "Lock and load," Nam Do ordered his troops. "These aliens think they can take our ships. Let's show them what happens when you threaten a human." The situation was spinning out of control and neither side understood what was really happening. Captain Veltar thought he was making friends. Admiral Kang Hoon thought he was facing an invasion force. The biggest misunderstanding in galactic history was about to get much worse. The moment the human war fleet came out of hyperspace, reality itself seemed to change. 847 ships appeared in perfect formation, each one designed for war, and built by a species that had fought for survival for millions of years. The fleet stretched across space like a three-dimensional wall of death. Captain Veltar felt his ship shake as the massive energy wave from the human fleet washed over them. He had never experienced anything like it. The power readings on his instruments went crazy, showing numbers that should have been impossible. "By the stars," whispered Science Officer Kilrun, staring at his sensors. "Captain, the energy output from their fleet is greater than our entire sun." "How is that possible?" Engineer Morden looked at his readings and felt dizzy. One human ship was producing more power than his entire civilization had ever generated, and there were hundreds of them. "Captain," he said in a shaky voice, "if just one of their ships released all that energy at once, it could destroy our home planet." Veltar tried to stay calm, but seeing so much power gathered in one place was overwhelming. His people had always believed that intelligence led to peace and cooperation. These beings had clearly reached a level of technology beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. Admiral Kim Jae watched his fleet deploy from the command center of the Soul's Fury. Every captain knew their job, and every ship moved to its assigned position without a single mistake. This was what happened when a predator species organized for war. "Fleet deployment complete," reported Captain Yoon Soo from her destroyer. "All ships report ready for combat operations." Kim Jae nodded with satisfaction. The human fleet was arranged in layers of defense and attack. The massive dreadnoughts formed the center, their planet-killer weapons pointed at the alien ships. Around them, cruisers and destroyers created overlapping fields of fire. Fast attack ships waited on the edges, ready to strike from unexpected angles. "Begin intimidation display," Kim Jae ordered. "Show them what they're facing." Across the fleet, human ships began their standard pre-battle routine. Fighter squadrons launched from carrier bays, filling space with thousands of small, deadly ships. Weapon systems charged with bright flashes of energy. Defensive shields activated, creating shimmering barriers around each vessel. To humans, this was normal military procedure. To the aliens, it looked like the forces of destruction preparing to unmake the universe. Captain Lim Seo commanded the forward battle group, 12 heavy cruisers whose job was to engage the enemy first. She was a veteran of the Kepler campaigns, where humans had learned to fight intelligent alien predators. Her voice was hard and cold when she opened communication channels. "Unknown vessels, this is Captain Lim Seo of the United Earth Defense Fleet," she transmitted toward the alien ships. "You have entered human space and demonstrated hostile intent. Surrender immediately or face the full might of Earth's military." Her words, spoken in the tone of a natural predator, reached the gentle current like the growl of a massive beast. The alien crew had never heard anything like it. In their peaceful civilization, no one had ever spoken with such controlled violence. Communications Officer Zilna tried to respond, but she was so frightened she could barely work her equipment. "Captain, they're talking to us, but their voice patterns are unlike anything in our database. They sound like the predatory animals from our ancient history books." Captain Veltar pulled himself together and tried to think clearly. These beings were obviously very powerful, but they had traveled all this way to meet his small ship. Maybe they were just being careful as any wise species would when meeting strangers. "Send our standard peaceful response," he ordered. "Tell them we are explorers from the Galactic Federation, and we come seeking friendship and knowledge." What the humans received was very different. The alien translation system couldn't properly convert concepts like peace and friendship into languages that had evolved from predator species. Instead, the message that reached human ears was, "We are Federation forces claiming this territory for consumption and domination." Admiral Kang Hoon felt his blood run cold. The aliens weren't just invaders. They represented some kind of galactic empire that was here to conquer and control human space. "Admiral," reported Lieutenant Park Min from the communication station, "we're receiving what appears to be territorial demands from the alien vessels. They claim to represent something called the Galactic Federation, and they're asserting dominance over this system." The worst fears of human military planners were coming true. Earth wasn't just facing raiders or explorers. They were facing the advanced scouts of a galactic empire. Colonel Nam Du prepared his Marines for what could be the most important battle in human history. These soldiers had fought the pack hunters of Kepler, intelligent predators that could plan and coordinate attacks. Now they might face an entire civilization of such beings. "Listen up, Marines," Nam Do said over the communication system. "Intelligence suggests we're facing an organized galactic empire. They think they can just show up and claim human space. Today we teach the galaxy that humans don't back down from anyone. Captain Hansol brought his heavy cruiser, the Gwangju Pride, into visual range of the alien vessel. What he saw confused him completely. The alien ship looked like it was made for sightseeing, not war. Gardens were visible through transparent sections, and the whole design seemed focused on beauty rather than function. This has to be a trick, Han Sol told his crew. No species survives in space by building pretty ships. Their real weapons must be hidden, or this is just a scout ship. On the gentle current, the crew was trying to understand what they were seeing. The human ships were clearly military vessels, but their design was unlike anything in Federation records. Every surface bristled with weapons, and the hulls were covered in thick armor. "They're warriors," Engineer Mordan said with wonder and terror. "Look at their ships. Every design choice is about fighting and survival. These beings have spent their entire civilization learning how to wage war." Captain Veltar was beginning to realize that first contact wasn't going as planned. These powerful beings seemed upset about something, and their ships looked ready for battle. Maybe there had been some kind of misunderstanding. "Try to explain that we're peaceful," he told Zilna. "Send them images of our homeworlds and our people. Show them that we're not warriors." Zilna transmitted a collection of images showing Morvani civilization, their garden cities, their art, their peaceful way of life. She included biological data about her species, showing that they were herbivores who had never developed weapons or military technology. Dr. Song Yu analyzed the incoming data and felt sick to her stomach. The images showed vast agricultural worlds that had been completely terraformed for food production. The biological data indicated a species that consumed plant life on an industrial scale. "They're strip miners," she reported to Admiral Kang Hoon. "They've turned entire planets into farms. And their biology? They're parasitic consumers who can process any form of plant matter. They could eat our crops, our forests, everything." The final straw came when Captain Veltar, desperate to show his peaceful intentions, ordered his ship's most powerful communication array to activate. He wanted to break through what he thought was interference and make sure the humans could hear his message of friendship. The massive energy surge from the alien communication array appeared on human sensors as the enemy ship. "Powering up for attack. All ships, red alert." Admiral Kang Hoon's voice rang across the fleet. "Alien vessel is charging weapons. Prepare for combat." 847 human warships simultaneously brought their weapons to full power. The combined energy output was so massive it created gravitational distortions that could be detected from Earth. Every gun, every missile, every plasma cannon in the human fleet was pointed at the small, peaceful alien ship. Captain Veltar watched in horror as the beautiful human ships transformed into instruments of destruction. He finally understood that something had gone terribly, terribly wrong. The galaxy's greatest misunderstanding was about to become its deadliest mistake. The space between the human fleet and the alien ship became a zone of pure tension. 847 warships held their weapons ready to fire, while the gentle current floated helplessly in the crosshairs of enough firepower to destroy a planet. Admiral Kang Hoon stood on the bridge of the Soul's Fury, his finger hovering over the weapons authorization button. Everything his military training had taught him said the aliens were preparing to attack. But something deep in his gut told him that something was wrong with this whole situation. "Admiral, the alien ship is still transmitting," reported Lieutenant Park Min. "They're sending more data packages." "What kind of data?" Kang Hoon asked. Major Ryu Ho, the fleet's top codebreaker, was working frantically at his station. He had been analyzing alien transmissions for hours, and the more he decoded, the more confused he became. "Sir, they're sending us star charts, trade agreements, and what appears to be cultural exchange protocols." "Trade agreements?" Admiral Kim Jae joined the conversation. "That makes no sense. Why would an invasion force send trade agreements?" Ryu Ho highlighted sections of the alien message on his screen. "Sir, according to this data, they want to exchange knowledge about art, science, and mathematics. They're offering to share information about peaceful species throughout the galaxy." Dr. Kim Na, the fleet's science officer, was studying the biological data the aliens had sent. What she found made her question everything they thought they knew about the situation. "Admiral, I'm looking at the alien biological scans. These beings are completely herbivorous. Their digestive systems can't process meat. They have no claws, no fangs, no natural weapons at all. That's impossible, said Colonel Nam-do over the communication system. No species survives in space without the ability to fight. Sir, Dr. Kim Na continued, their bone structure is designed for climbing and reaching, not fighting. Their brain chemistry shows high levels of empathy compounds. These beings are physically incapable of violence. Admiral Kang Hoon felt a cold fear growing in his stomach. If the aliens were truly peaceful, then human ships were about to commit the worst crime in galactic history. On the gentle current, Captain Veltar was trying to understand why the powerful human ships were pointing weapons at his small vessel. His people had protocols for dealing with aggressive species, but they had never actually encountered any. Maybe they're just being careful, Science Officer Kilron suggested. If they've had to fight hostile species before, they might assume we're dangerous too. Engineer Mordan was looking at the energy readings from the human fleet and shaking with fear. Captain, if they fire those weapons, we won't just die. Our ship will be vaporized so completely that there won't even be atoms left. Captain Veltar made a decision that he hoped would save his crew. Send them everything we have, he ordered. Every database, every cultural record, every piece of information about the Federation. Show them exactly who we are. Communications Officer Zilna transmitted the complete history of Morvani civilization. Thousands of years of art, literature, science, and philosophy flowed toward the human fleet. Pictures of their peaceful cities, their gardens, their children playing in parks, their universities and museums. Major Ryu Ho watched the data stream in amazement. Admiral, they're sending us their entire cultural database. Music, art, poetry, scientific theories, historical records. This is the most comprehensive first contact package ever transmitted. The data told the story of a species that had never known war, had never developed weapons, had never even conceived of deliberate violence between intelligent beings. Their entire civilization was built around learning, growing, and helping others. Sir, Ryuho said quietly, these beings aren't invaders. They're explorers. They've been traveling through space for centuries, making friends with other peaceful species and sharing knowledge. Dr. Song Yu was studying the images of Morvani homeworlds and feeling sick with shame. The agricultural worlds she had thought were strip-mined planets were actually carefully tended gardens where the aliens grew food to share with less advanced species. Admiral, she reported, I was wrong about their biology. They're not parasitic consumers. They're symbiotic gardeners. They help other species develop agriculture and sustainable food production. Commander Park Dong, captain of the destroyer Incheon Strike, was watching his sensors carefully. The alien ship was still moving slowly toward the human fleet, but its approach pattern was all wrong for an attack. Admiral, the alien vessel is approaching using standard diplomatic protocols, he reported. They're transmitting friendship codes and requesting permission to send a delegation. Delegation for what? Admiral Kang Hoon asked. For cultural exchange, sir. They want to meet us face to face and share knowledge. The horrible truth was starting to dawn on everyone in the human fleet. They had mobilized for war against a species that didn't even understand what war was. Lieutenant Beiji was analyzing the alien ship's approach vector when he noticed something that made his heart skip a beat. Admiral, the alien vessel isn't moving in an attack pattern. They're following standard civilian approach procedures. They're trying to dock with us. Captain Veltar had decided that the only way to resolve this misunderstanding was through direct communication. His ship slowly approached the massive human dreadnought, extending its docking ports in the universal sign of peaceful contact. Prepare the welcome ceremony, he told his crew. These humans must be very important in their civilization to command such powerful ships. We should honor them with our finest foods and our most beautiful music. The Morvani crew began preparing their traditional first contact gifts. Seeds from their home world, samples of their art, and recordings of their most peaceful songs. They had no idea that their approach was being interpreted as a final attack run. Admiral, the alien ship is extending boarding arms, Lieutenant Beiji reported with alarm. They're trying to force a boarding action. Admiral Kang Hoon felt everything he believed about the situation crumbling around him. The aliens were sending cultural gifts while approaching for peaceful contact. But their approach looked exactly like a military boarding maneuver. Colonel Nam-do was positioning his Marines to repel boarders when he received a communication from his intelligence officer. Sir, we've been analyzing the alien ship's structure. There are no military compartments, no weapons storage areas, no tactical stations. The entire ship is designed for scientific research and cultural exchange. Then what are those boarding arms for? Namdu asked. Sir, they appear to be standard civilian docking ports. The aliens are trying to dock with us for a diplomatic meeting. The realization hit the human fleet like a physical blow. They were about to destroy a ship full of peaceful explorers who wanted nothing more than to make friends. Captain Veltar activated his ship's most powerful communication array one final time, hoping to break through what he thought was interference. He wanted to make absolutely sure the humans understood that his people came in peace. The massive energy surge appeared on human sensors as the alien ship charging its main weapon for a point-blank attack on the flagship. All ships, weapons free, Admiral Kang Hoon shouted. Fire at will. 847 human warships prepared to unleash enough destruction to crack a moon. The most peaceful species in the galaxy was about to be annihilated by the most warlike. In that final moment before disaster, Lieutenant Park Min noticed something in the alien transmission that made him scream across the bridge. Admiral, wait! They're not charging weapons. They're sending a mathematical proof. The countdown to fire was at 3 seconds when Park Min's words reached Admiral Kang Hoon's ears. The young officer had spotted something buried in the alien signal that everyone else had missed. A peaceful equation showing the relationship between orbital mechanics and space navigation. Hold fire. Hold fire. Kang Hoon's voice rang across the fleet. All ships hold fire! The order came just in time. 847 trigger fingers stopped just short of starting the first interstellar war in galactic history. In the silence that followed, both species finally had a chance to understand the magnitude of their misunderstanding.